Okay, guys, I've been getting a lot of requests in the comments to watch the Northern Perspective. He just put out this video 15 hours ago, and he got 85,000 views. It's crazy. So we're going to watch it. If you don't recognize me yet, my name's Alex. I run an AI agency in Toronto, and my God, we have been busy, guys. Um, Implementing agents for healthcare providers. We're working on a huge transit project. Never been so busy in my life, guys. But I can tell you, super rewarding. Tech and AI is not very popular in this country. But once you get into the mix and people start to figure out, hey, like this is one of the only guys doing it. His team's the only ones out here doing it well. You start to get business. So I'm really happy about that. Really appreciative of all the clients, customers, and of course, obviously you guys for liking and subscribing and helping us get more exposure online. I wouldn't be doing these videos, guys, if it weren't for you. So let's get into it.
Is it a wonder that now he's saying, you know what? I'm out. I'm not being appreciated and I don't want to be a team player. So therefore, I'm out.
Like that music. Look at his hat. You know what? Right off the bat, I like that intro, Northern Perspective. I think we're gonna do like a hyper cut of a bunch of times I'm talking smack and get some music going. We got AI music going now, guys. So I'm like looking at my videos, going, I know how do I make this stuff better. We don't have any YouTube people on the team, guys. We just build clankers for like workflow operations and try to make it go on YouTube. We're trying our best. We'll get there.
We have breaking news, folks. Rumors that have been swirling since the fall are now becoming reality. Mark Carney's Liberals are dropping like flies. In the span of just 24 hours, two MPs have announced they are resigning their seats. That will now trigger a total of three by elections, alongside the already vacant seat of Chrystia Freeland in the riding of University Rosedale. Let's take a look. First, as some of you may already know, since this happened yesterday, former Minister Bill Blair, appointed to diplomatic post, resigns as Member of Parliament. Appointment as Canada's High Commissioner to the UK will take effect this spring. Former Liberal Cabinet Minister Bill Blair resigned as an MP on Monday after the Prime Minister's office announced that he will be Canada's next High Commissioner to the UK. Quote, "It has been an honour to be your voice in Parliament for the past decade and to work for all Canadians to build safer communities, protect our sovereignty, and shape a better future," end quote, Bill Blair said in a post on X. Quote, "I'm deeply grateful for this chapter and I look forward to continuing to serve Canada and Canadians in this new capacity," end quote. The Prime Minister's office news release said Blair is bringing his, quote, 4 decades of experience serving Canadians and protecting their security, end quote, to the role. Blair, a former Toronto police chief, was first elected as an MP in 2015 and held a number of cabinet positions, most notably as defense minister under former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. The Toronto MP held on to the defense portfolio after Prime Minister Carney was sworn in, but was shuffled to the backbenches after April's election. Blair was appointed defense minister in the summer of 2023 and oversaw an updated defense policy in 2024. Much of his tenure was dominated by efforts to support Ukraine with donations of military equipment and training as it fought off a full-scale Russian invasion. Finance Minister Francois Philippe Champagne described his former cabinet colleague as, quote, "someone with an aura," end quote. Okay, so someone with an aura. Maybe.
First of all, guys, like Bill Blair, all these people, like political people, I'm really just watching this for you guys. Like, you guys let me know in the comments, who is Bill Blair? What is he about? And how is he relevant to anything we're talking about here with Carney and Trump and Paul Poilievre and stuff like that, or Pierre Poilievre? Because for me, guys, like, I'm going to be honest with you. I watch these political videos because you guys like them and you guys like to make comments on them. And I guess I also do learn about politics. But as soon as I'm done with this politics stuff, guys, I'm right back into the pit with clankers. It's just robots who don't care about who's president, who's prime minister. They just want to get work done. So I just have to look up Bill Blair real quick. I'm like, who the hell, Bill Blair? And it looks like boomer type guy, worked in Scarborough a little bit. William Sterling Blair, former Canadian politician. It's politicians, guys. I'm going to tell you right now, I suck at politics, guys. I don't like it. But I guess I got to be a part of it now. I'm an adult with a business. Jesus Christ.
Maybe an aura of not answering emails, not taking foreign interference seriously, not taking national security seriously. That's what I get from Mr. Bill Blair. Because as we've heard through many testimony by many witnesses at committee, he actually wasn't one for answering emails. And apparently he didn't even know how to get into his encrypted email to address any important email sent to him.
I really believe that, guys. I just look at a picture of Bill Blair. He looks like you. Well, he's 72 years old. Okay. 72 years old, guys. My father, he's like 85, 84, 85. He can't opening up his phone. He has a Nokia old flip phone. Like just unlocking it's a challenge for this guy. Like there's a certain time the older generations, the technology's not for them because that's good serious. But like getting upset with a boomer or an older person because they can't open their emails, guys. I mean, that's pretty shallow. Like, can we really expect boomers to like be good with emails and stuff, guys? Like, it would just have to go easy on them, guys. They were born at a different time. They just don't know. Sorry, Bill.
To him. He comes across as somebody who doesn't really know what he's doing and someone who is blatantly unqualified for the positions that he's actually been given. So for them to say, oh, he's uniquely qualified to serve Canadians in the UK High Commissioner role, something tells me the capacity of the UK High Commissioner role isn't going to be doing anything except sitting around, sipping champagne, eating some crumpets, and smoking some cigars.
At Levy, we believe that proactive healthcare is the key to a longer, healthier life.
Skip
That's why
I don't really see him doing much else because that's all I see him qualified for. Leaving Canada, safer? Ask Canadians that. Ask women that. Ask people who are...
Okay, so you know what? I like this guy because he did something there I literally talked about in a previous video where there was a bunch of women talking about they don't feel safe and stuff like that. And I always like to remind people, like, when it comes to safety and like what areas feel safe and stuff like that. This is at a very like basic fundamental level. I'm not talking about like, like someone. I'm seeing this stuff online, like there's trigger words, or you get triggered when someone says some words or something, or people get triggered, like all that shit. I don't know about any of that stuff, guys. I'm talking about safety to your body, like violence and damage. And there was another previous video that I put up there. It's talking about women feeling safe in Toronto and how they don't feel as safe as they did before just because of the risk of violence. I'm not talking about anything like, oh, I don't feel safe because you didn't use my right, what is it, pronoun or something like that. I'm not talking about that stuff. That's like, I'm not talking about damage to your body, assaults, robbery, stuff like that. And women when they're not feeling safe or they think their environment's not 100%, they'll let you know very, very saliently by either telling you directly or their behavior. So I sort of like to look at them as the barometer for safety. If women are uneasy about the physical security of their environment, it's generally true. Like they're smaller than men on average, and they have less dense bones. They're not doing as much violence in general to defend themselves or deter violence with violence. So, men aren't going to register those types of nuances as much. Like, obviously, someone like me, I'm not going to register danger like a woman is. So you have to sort of take their perspective into consideration when it comes to the physical dangers and stuff like that. And I would even imagine back in the day when humans were running around the like a desert, like trying to survive, like as apes, it would generally be women who were letting people know like this is not safe, and men having to deal with those problems. But as soon as he said that, I immediately recognized, okay, this guy's at least paying attention to stuff like that, because in Toronto the crime rates, they're fucking exploding. Like, it's insane. Like, come on, guys, we got to do better.
Not otherwise gun owners now buying BB guns because they want to protect themselves at home because they're afraid of home invasions. Ask all the people that have had their car stolen. Ask all the people who have had tragedies impact their lives or lives of their loved ones because of repeat violent offenders due to Liberal bail reform. Ask them, Bill Blair. Is it a wonder
Bill,
he wants to get out of Canada? Because he's certainly not popular here at home. So that's the first one. The second one came just an hour or two ago. Ladies and gentlemen, as long suspected, Nate Erskine-Smith announces bid for Ontario Liberal leadership race in Scarborough Southwest riding. Erskine-Smith is now the first contender to come forward and put his name in the ballot for the Ontario Liberal Party leadership. Liberal MP Nate Erskine-Smith has announced his intention to seek the Ontario Liberal nomination to run in the Scarborough Southwest riding, recently vacated by NDP's Dolly Bigham. Bigham had announced her resignation to pursue a federal Liberal seat in University Rosedale earlier today. That would be Chrystia Freeland's riding. Erskine-Smith is now the first contender to come forward and put his name in the ballot for the Ontario Liberal Party leadership. Erskine-Smith, a prominent figure within the Liberal federal ranks and runner-up in the last Ontario Liberal leadership race, declared his intention through a statement today. Quote, "When it comes to Ontario, I'm all in. To that end, I'll seek the Ontario Liberal Party's nomination to run in the Scarborough Southwest by-election. I've communicated this to interim leader John Fraser, and I will continue to support Prime Minister Carney as an active member of our federal caucus in the meantime," end quote, he wrote. Scarborough Southwest will now see 2 by-elections coming. So we have Nate Erskine-Smith, who was appointed as a cabinet member right after Carney was elected leader of the Liberal Party. Then, in anticipation of being reappointed to cabinet, sold off all of his stock and divested himself, only to not be appointed to cabinet, which he was pretty perturbed about, and that was documented in the media. Then went on to publicly criticize Mark Carney's budget on his podcast, which we covered and many others did as well.
It falls short of these specific promises in our platform, and it unfortunately falls well short of the wartime effort that many of us thought we'd deliver. My kids shouldn't pay for today's military or for me to save $400 of income taxes.
And is it a wonder that now he's saying, you know what, I'm out. I'm not being appreciated, and I don't want to be a team player, so therefore I'm out. So now he's going to run in a by-election where an NDP, member of provincial parliament, resigns, so that she can flip parties and run in the Liberal riding.
Oh gosh, guys, this is so confusing. So we have, I think it's Liberals splinting off from the main pack and trying to do their own thing. At least that's what my brain is interpreting. And guys, I'm not good with the politics. Let me know in the comments what's really happening. Someone told me to watch Northern Perspective to get his perspective. I like that shit. And you know what else I like? I like all the red. And I'm wearing a red shirt today too. I really like red. I think red is super Canadian. And you know what I really do like? This guy's got a good production going. He's got some space where he's got a nice background. I'm thinking about that. And you know what's funny? We're coming up on subscribers. Like and subscribe, guys. It really helps us. Eventually, our channel is going to get monetized. And then all the revenue that comes through YouTube for whatever, I'm going to put back into getting a better production, because obviously you guys don't want to see my stupid face every time you do a video. I'm going to get other people in here doing stuff. But what do you guys think of Liberal leadership right now, splintering off from the main pack and sort of trying to do their own thing? It's like a Liberal smash and grab for clout right now, and everyone's trying to get their piece. And that to me just means fractures in solidarity amongst the team. And once, your solidarity is fractured, that's when, the opportunities for your opponents start to creep up. So I would imagine that Pierre Poilievre is pretty happy to see 2 big names like Bill Blair and whatever the hell that other guy's name was. I don't really know. But I do recall Bill Blair, though. His name came up a whole bunch of times in my life, but my lifetime. Don't really know much about him. But to hear that, these guys don't want to play ball anymore, it's really interesting. And it's so funny because I think the old guard is being rotated, and it's just like, who's going to take on this mess of a Liberal kingdom in Canada and steer it in a good direction? Because right now it's like, even the Liberals are like, we don't want to be a part of this. So, or at least some of them. But what do you guys think? Please, I'm going to need help with this one. Leave it in the comments.
Of University Rosedale. So if the Carney Liberals are committed to moving more towards the center, why are they entertaining a candidate that is allegedly far left? That doesn't really make a lot of sense now, does it? That is a little bizarre. If you are the Liberals and you're trying to explain to people, well, we're moving towards the center. That's why we're recruiting NDP folks. And NDP, on the normal political spectrum, are far left of the Liberals. So That's a lot, isn't it? And then you have Bill Blair, who is being shipped off to the UK. So we have Chrysler Freeland. We have Nate Erskine-Smith. We have Bill Blair. Rumors are that Jonathan Wilkinson could be next. So I think Canadians just have a couple of questions. For the mainstream media, do you guys plan on calling out Mark Carney's leadership? Or is this, strategic shuffling? Is this a preamble towards the next election? Or is this Mark Carney losing the confidence of his party, as we've heard from all of the mainstream media over the last 8 months over Pierre Poilievre? Up to now, and we don't anticipate this to change, Pierre Poilievre has lost 2 MPs to the Liberals. Meanwhile, Mark Carney has lost 3 MPs to other countries and to the Ontario Provincial Party, and maybe losing a 4th if Jonathan Wilkinson ends up resigning as well. So, CBC, CTV, Globe and Mail, Canadians are waiting. Are you going to be levying the same criticism towards them as you did to Pierre Poilievre? Or are you going to, I don't know, have their backs?
It's funny. Like, it's so obvious to me. That's a good, nice shot of you, Northern Perspective. Good one for the shorts. It's so obvious to me that Canadian media is very biased towards Liberals. Like, I hate watching the news, guys. But I watch it for you guys because I know, getting my perspective. Maybe you don't even give a shit about my perspective as an AI guy. But I do really feel like, and someone who thinks extremely technically, like even like we have to understand the human nuances of behavior between humans in order to make our clankers more effective in, in the workplace. So I'm constantly analyzing human behavior and sentiment, bias, and stuff like that. Literally, it's part of my job. But I don't care for a bias either or, like liberal, conservative. It's of no matter to me who is adopting technology is the bottom line. But I can say without a shadow of a doubt that the media powers in this country are extremely biased toward liberal motivations, and that's just my own personal observation and opinion. But when I see that opinion being echoed by other, YouTube content creators, just common folk like myself. I mean, I don't want to say he's a common folk. This guy probably does really well for himself, but I consider myself to be a commoner amongst Canadians. And if I can see other people like that saying, hey, you know what, like mainstream media is not very unbiased, or they're leaning pretty hard to one direction. It's really funny because, Pierre, when he goes through a downward trough in sentiment on the conservative side, the media bashes the shit out of him, like unrelentingly, compares him to Trump, all sorts of like actually out of your mind shit, because he's not even a prime minister. Like, he has the ability to actually action things that he says is almost zero. He's just trying to sell his position to Canadians. Meanwhile, the guy who's actually supposed to be doing something, aka our prime minister, not getting a deal with Trump, making deals with countries that pose national security threats, like it's really obvious to me that our media is super biased, and I do appreciate an unfettered perspective from that's funny, Northern, because it just goes to show, like, you can't really believe everything you see on the news, because these news channels are owned by corporations, and corporations always have intentions and motivations, guys. Like, it's the bottom line. Me doing a review of political videos on YouTube, like, I want you guys to click like, subscribe, see our website, tell your friends about AI automations, try and get business to do more for, be better for Canada, or what have you. And that's my internal motivation. Like, it's strictly to get more views. And I really do believe that in this modern day of social media and stuff like that, even major media groups are acting in the same way. And that to me is a little bit unfair, because we should be able to rely on our journalism entities to be unbiased, and not like me, like a super biased like business owner who's just trying to get more clout. So it's nice to see Northern Perspective come with his perspective and say, hey, you know what? Like, the news has been really, really soft on liberals, super hard on conservatives, even though the liberals have been in power, like messing up big time. So I'm going to leave it at that, guys. Please, please, please. You know what my questions were for this conversation at the beginning. Who is Bill Blair? What did he have to do with the Liberal Party in Canada? How does him leaving as an MP affect the game now? Like, what does it all mean, guys? I have no idea. I learned most of my politics from the comments. Looking forward to the next one. Bye now.